Hi, my name's TJ, and I'm not using last names today for the simple reason I don't want anything of anyone's personal information getting on the public media, because once it's on the internet, it's always on the internet. So today I'm going to be talking to you about where I would like to spend my internship once I have an opportunity. That place, of course, begin with, I work at the Department of Veterans Affairs at the National Call Center at this point, and eventually I'd like to be working in one of the other areas, hopefully working face-to-face with veterans, which I do have a little experience doing. It's just I'd like to do it full-time. The place I'd like to do my internship is the Vet Center. Now, what is the Vet Center? Of course, it is part of the Department of Veterans Affairs. It's under command and control of the VA Medical Center, but it's not part of the Medical Center. It's a separate entity. Their primary mission is to treat those veterans who have been diagnosed with or may be diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder out of a variety of reasons. The first type, of course, that post-traumatic stress disorder could be a combination of anxiety, depression, and of course those put together with the post-traumatic stress disorder. The first type of veterans are those combat veterans, and they may have been exposed or attained the diagnosis of the post-traumatic stress disorder through the fact that they may have seen other parties killed in action, combat action. They may have seen their comrades killed. Many of them may have been involved in the roadside bombs. They may have been exploded themselves, which is a very traumatic and frightening experience in itself. And so that's the first type of veteran. The next type is the non-combat veterans who are experiencing post-traumatic stress disorder. Some of the ways they may have received this or been exposed to it is through, say for instance, the funeral detail, where they may have been cleaning up the bodies after they were killed in the combat area. They may have been involved in dressing the bodies and preparing them for shipment to their hometowns, or they may simply have been on the honors detail, which provides for the veterans who have been killed and then they're being buried in their hometowns or at the national cemeteries. Now, the third type of veteran that have post-traumatic stress disorder are predominantly those that have suffered from military sexual trauma. These are predominantly women who may have been exposed to a constant barrage of sexual harassment in their work area. They may have been bargained with for sexual favors, for promotion or advancement in their jobs. Or they may have been victims of violent crimes such as rape. In some rare instances, there are male veterans that have suffered from military sexual trauma as well. Now, as far as the services that are provided at the vet centers, the first one, of course, is the one-on-one counseling. They receive the veterans in before, a lot of times they even know that they've been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, or they even have it itself. They go in for the initial intake interview, usually takes about 2 hours. They sit one-on-one with a counselor that hopefully makes them feel comfortable, and if they can be honest, then they have an opportunity to where they could be diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, depression, or a combination of all three. Now, the other type of service they offer is group counseling, whereas veterans with similar backgrounds, for instance, combat veterans, and it isn't necessarily one war type of veteran. They've tried that, to where they tried to isolate veterans from certain conflicts, like World War II veterans, Korean War veterans, Vietnam veterans, the OIF veterans of the Afghanistan and the recent war that we've been in since 1990. And that doesn't really provide a lot of help to a veteran. It's some help, but those experiences of older veterans to the younger veterans being exposed to the older veterans get to see themselves, perhaps this can help them. In most cases, it's predominantly groups of one sex, like men only, women only, and in some rare cases it might be mixed. This could be the non-combat type of PTSD. The other type of services offered is drug and alcohol counseling, referral to different areas, referral to the Veterans Hospital. I keep thinking base for some reason. It must still be oriented into that military type of mind frame. But the drug and alcohol screening, to also up to a detox, so that they could be admitted to the Veterans Hospital. And they also provide marriage counseling. And this is very important if a person's spouse isn't aware of what's causing their husband to act that way, or their wife, if it's a victim of military sexual trauma. And I see I'm running out of time, so that does give an overview of what the Vet Center is. And I'm very excited about it. I could talk for hours about it. I've experienced it myself, and hopefully I'll have an opportunity to help someone else the same way I was helped.